Is this the best Superman we've ever seen on screen? We'll talk about it and let's find out. We are discussing James Gunn's Superman, which just came out. Do we love it? Do we hate it? We're gonna give you our thoughts. I have the lovely Clocky Chan, latest addition to the team. She's going to be doing this review with me. We both cried in the movie, spoiler alert. Speaking of spoilers, this is a spoiler review.
Do not watch any further if you don't want spoilers. Spoiler alert!
Did we mention spoiler alert? Just in case. David Corenswet and Nick Hoult are perfect in this movie. James Gunn casted, I think, everyone really well. I don't think there's a member of this cast that I disliked at all. It was
I so agree with that.
So much fun to watch. To me, it was a fun film. I liked it, but I want to know your thoughts before I go off on my tangent. I could talk about Superman all day. He's my favorite superhero. I've done like 2 videos already on him before I even saw the movie. So I'm going to let you get your thoughts in. What did you like about the movie?
So I agree. I think all the actors were casted phenomenally. I'm a massive fan of Nicholas Hoult, just always have been in general. I think he's fantastic. I've loved him since Warm Bodies. And his Lex Luthor was just absolutely beautiful. Like, it was scary because he's a, unbelievably smart, well-planned, predetermined villain, but also silly, and he's petty, and he comes back with this kind of like, I'm a little angry boy, because that's what he is. He's just a little angry boy. He's incredibly scary. He's incredibly intelligent, but he's also kind of crazy, and that's what villains are in those things. And like, I liked being able to see the snap in the characters and not just holding this like, I'm gonna get him next time, and it never switches tones. I love when an actor puts on the show of the character but then also adds range to the character. Like, the character is happy sometimes, the character is sad sometimes, the character's gonna get jealous sometimes, instead of just like, I'm an angry villain, I'm angry all the way to the end. And I'm like, that's great, you probably gave a good performance, but when he was so petty at the end and he was pouting, I was like, that's Lex Luthor. He's got to be sad for a while until his next plan comes into fruition, because normally it's not just like, I'll get him next time. It's just like, no, what do you mean it didn't work? Like, he's going to be sad for a while. That's what the character would be like.
Yes.
He wouldn't just be like, well, my 20-year plan didn't work, I'll get him next time. No person would do that. No person would. They'd be upset for like at least a week.
Yeah, you're going to be livid if your plan that you put all that work into just didn't work. Like,
all the money, all the work,
the cloning, and the super biomechanical lady you built. You destroyed people's lives for this plan, and it didn't work.
I had never seen anything with David Corenswet. I mean, he's been in a few movies here and there, but no breakout roles. No, like, big breakout roles. And I think that was something very nice to see as a Superman in general, before I even talk about his acting. Like, not to go into detail on it, I do love Henry Cavill. I absolutely love Henry Cavill. I think he's a fantastic actor. Adore him. He is a very gorgeous man. He looks the part of Superman. But does casting A-listers always make it the best choice? Sometimes I feel like when you're developing a superhero for life, for kids to look up to, for a culture to get behind, throwing Tom Holland and Henry Cavill out there, just name dropping. I'm like, it's a good superhero, but is it like the guy that you're just like, this is my guy? And so having somebody who isn't the most well-known actor in the world become Superman,
I can't think of
just makes it almost more sentimental, because you're like, this is my Superman, this is my guy. He's not just a good actor and played a good Superman.
You mentioned Tom Holland. He wasn't an A-lister when
like,
he took
they're fantastic. No, he wasn't. But now he's casted in a lot of things.
Yeah, Robert Downey, Chris Evans. Like, I think the heroes that we identify as perfectly cast, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, you're right. They were not like household names.
They were not big names. Like, they had a few good roles. And I'm not saying like,
I think Patrick Stewart might be
Scott Pilgrim versus the World wasn't a fantastic role for Chris Evans and stuff like that. I love all of his movies. I think he's so funny. But him spending the years to be Captain America, you're like, that's Cap. Robert Downey Jr. was an actor for a long time, but none of those roles just hit home the way that Iron Man did. And so having somebody that just comes out of nowhere and nails a role that isn't already on 5 movie posters when you walk in, you're like, he filmed 5 movies this year. And you're like, cool. And one of them was Superman's. Like, did he give it everything he had?
Yeah.
But having somebody, and like also knowing some of the behind the scenes stuff of him, like I've seen interviews with Nicholas Hoult and David Corenswet, like he's at home, he's on set with his wife and his newborn baby, going off the set to hold and walk the baby in the stroller, and then going back onto set filming. And I'm like, having a real person who's really focused and really filming one movie is a beautiful thing to see, especially in a superhero movie, because superheroes get so idolized, and rightfully so, when they have the right storytelling. And it's great for kids. It brings people out of really dark moments, and so I just loved seeing that. And then, not to skip other actors, I thought Lois Lane was fantastic, and normally I'm not a fan of Lois Lane as a character. This Lois Lane was really cool. Jimmy, 10 out of 10. Loved Jimmy. Jimmy was perfect. Perry was perfect.
Yes.
And we cannot forget how perfect Guy Gardner, Hot Girl,
man.
and Mr. Terrific, the show-stealing character, absolutely unreal. Not to mention, I don't remember his superhero name, but Elemental, also not necessarily... Metamorpho. Not necessarily an A-lister either, but like fantastic. Yes. I feel like DC for a while was like, we have tragic backstories, so the screen is going to be black half the time, and you're not going to be able to see the movie and everything, because we want you to know it's a dark backstory. And I'm like, a movie doesn't have to be dark to tell a dark story. Yeah. This story was really hard to watch. It was so emotional, but it wasn't done in a dark way. It was told like a real person would tell a story.
Yes.
And that was fantastic.
I agree wholeheartedly. That scene that you referenced, or at least the character you referenced, Metamorpho, that's a scene that is probably one of my favorite and most hated scenes. I have never wanted to like get up and fist fight a villain before, but when Nick Hoult spins the revolver and just so cold, so callous, and what he says, "Don't tell him anything, Superman, I believe in you," and pop, on the second shot, blows the guy's brains out, and then treats it like it's nothing. Like, oh, I thought that would have lasted longer. Oh well. He didn't care, and it destroyed Superman. It ripped him in half, and Lex could give...
Because he didn't make a show about it. He made it so real. It was so hard real, to watch. And that wasn't like an over-the-top, like, I'm gonna torture your loved ones forever. Like, yeah, that might probably happen. No. But doing it in such a real way, and another way that it caught you off guard. Even the audience watching thought it was going to be longer, so your heart plummets with Superman. It gives you the effect that you were stuck in that problem too, because you're like, I thought he was going to save him.
Yeah.
And for you to have to experience what Superman experienced freaking sucked.
Yeah, it was rough. I was shaking, angry, and then he just kind of goes away like nothing happened. He's like, maybe I'll kill that reporter you're always doing interviews with, Clark Kent. So there was like a comedic moment after this super dark moment, but I was too mad to laugh. The theater laughed. I was like I was heated, and it was exactly what Nick Hoult was trying to do. He was trying to be a scary, demented villain who just was cold. He had one objective, and that was to kill Superman and ruin Superman. And he was focused on it, and that scene pointed it out. Great acting by everyone in that scene, because that's where Metamorpho's like,
when he broke down. Oh,
I lost it. I cried.
Oh my God.
One of the scenes.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about this character yet. I think the character design is badass. I think his skills are badass. But him just sitting there being like, don't talk to me. I was like, something's going to happen. I'm aware of that. But when he...
just tear.
I was like, instantaneously, my heart cracked. I was like, I love this man, and I would do anything for him in my life. And then, 10 minutes later, when he looks at Superman and calls him weird, was the funniest shit ever. And I'm like, you are a squid.
Yeah. Why do you still look all weird?
You guys are kind of weird. And I'm like, You're a squid.
And then he makes the
That's
sun,
crazy.
and the prisoners are so terrified of Lex. They're like, don't. They all try to be first.
The prisoners
to
getting in on it was great.
I loved
was
that
a good
scene.
touch.
I love the actors. Like you said, Guy Gardner was an amazing asshole.
He
Just
was
a
awful.
snarky-
Awful.
He
Guy
was
Gardner
not
sucks.
good.
But the
Justice
actor did it
Gang.
so well.
He did. I think all
So
the
well.
actors in this did it great. Mr. Terrific 100% stole the show. It was
Oh
one of my favorites.
Goddamn Mr. Terrific.
I'm sold on Mr. Terrific. I need a series or a solo film. I am on board all day long. And Peacemaker.
One thing I loved. Oh my god,
Out
the
of
cameo
nowhere?
of Peacemaker was wild. I really got nervous though when seeing all these introduction of these new superheroes because I think DC's been doing a lot recently and it shows up in the
Too
Suicide
many
Squad
heroes.
movies is like, here's a hero, here's a hero, here's a hero. They're really cool. And then they kill him so quickly that like anytime Mr. Terrific was on screen, I was like, please stop
gonna die.
killing off characters. But the fact that he was just a badass, stole the show, was hilarious, and killed it and lived, I was like,
I was a
thank
happy
you.
boy.
I love DC. I'm a huge DC
Same.
comic fan. I'm a huge DC hero and villain fan. But this felt like a Marvel movie, and I think they needed that. Because it
I agree.
was dark, but it wasn't
Yeah.
in a dark tone.
Yes.
Because
You can
those
see the
tones
action
came out
taking place.
heavily in
Agreed.
Clark being a real fucking person and being
I think this is the
relatable.
best Clark Kent we've ever had on screen. I will go out
Oh
on a
my
limb and say
God.
that. There were so many good Clark Kent moments, and I'll get to Superman moments when we talk about things we dislike. But as far as Clark Kent goes, chef's kiss. He was believable as this oaky Kansas boy who genuinely believed in his mission and just wanted to make his ma and pa proud. That's it.
One thing I did love was such a small thing is when he would curse, they didn't just go like, oh no, and then like ignore curse words. He still cursed, but in a
Yes.
Kansas
Hokey
way by going, oh what the hey. Oh,
Yeah, it was
hard.
so
Oh, what the
hokey.
hey. And that is so much funnier than just
Yes.
like a curse word would fill here and then skipping over it because you're like,
You can
I'm
tell he
Superman,
learned
I
how to
never
cuss
curse.
by like
But
being
him
around his dad.
But him fake cursing is
Yes.
what is funny about the fact that he's cursing because you're like, that's a curse word, but you're saying, oh, what the hey? And I'm like, that's Superman. That's Superman right there.
Yes.
And that's fantastic because Superman is a serious hero. He's fantastic, but he's also just a silly little dude.
Yes.
Just a guy.
Yes. He's trying not to be intimidating to anybody. He doesn't want to scare anybody. He wants to be a symbol of hope, not an intimidating, brooding, big, muscly guy.
Baby.
Exactly. He's a small boy and we must protect him at
Baby
all
in a
costs.
big body.
There was so much to love about this film. James Gunn, I think, like you said, knocked it out the park with a great story, great characters. I can't wait for more. Now, what were some
There
things
is
that you
one thing about the story there was one thing about the story I
transition.
was not a
Perfect
fan
transition.
of. I understand what he wanted to do with it in a sense, but this is where my issue with James Gunn is he seems to have this trend with putting misogynistic sexual themes into everything and making it all about spreading his seed in the population. I understand what they were implying is like, we want you to regrow Krypton.
Yeah.
And they could have worded it in a sense where like, we want you to try to save the race and bring back Krypton.
Yeah.
But the way they described it as like
Your
making
slaves,
a harem
your wives.
and making sex slaves and stuff, and I was like, that was awful. I did not like the way they did that. I was like, I get what they want to do, but I don't like that he has this awful tendency to do stuff. I think he directs fantastic movies. I don't think he's a great person necessarily because he does those themes a lot, like in a lot of stuff. And I was like, you could have done that better.
I agree. I hated that part of the movie. Like the message from his parents being that, I don't think makes sense. I don't like that it was that. I was hoping it was doctored or, messed with in some way. Like it was a damaged message.
I was hoping it was doctored.
Bad translation, something along those lines. But they didn't say that in the movie. They said that was his mission, which creates a whole other conflict with Supergirl doesn't know that. Like, she was there, she would have got the same instruction. So it creates a whole other conflict in story. It was, I agree, one of my least favorite parts of the movie. Another thing I disliked was a lack of Superman moments. This is just me expecting too much. This is a setup film. We're setting up Superman in the larger universe. He's only been Superman for 3 years. But for me, I really, really wanted more Superman moments. And I'm talking, saving the squirrel was a Superman moment.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Such a nice touch. I loved
life.
That so much.
I wanted more of that. And I really wanted Superman to be the one to save that boy raising the flag. I wanted him to do both. Because Superman would have found a way to do both.
Yeah,
like,
that was one part that I was like,
too.
I loved bringing the team in so that they were like, now they're a team. But he should have been there. And that disappointed me a bit. I was like, he should have at least showed up somehow.
That's what I'm saying. He should have at least showed face at the end or been there for the kid. And like, I sent some friends, something. Superman is not just about saving the day. He's a symbol of hope. And he's there for the people who call him. I read Up in the Sky right before I went to go see this, which is an amazing Superman comic. If you haven't read it, can't recommend it enough. That's the whole theme of it. A little girl gets kidnapped, taken to the other side of the universe, and he has to go save her. He has to leave Earth just with the Justice League and the rest of the heroes to defend it for one human versus the entire planet. And he's like, Superman's her favorite. She knows she's going to be saved by Superman. So he has to go on this incredible journey. I wanted more Superman moments. I wanted him to sit and talk to a kid at the park who's going through it. I wanted him to have those. Oh. My wife said she expected to have a tearjerker moment that was a little more heavy. This was, like you said, a dark tone movie. There are dark moments, kind of like when Lex blows that guy's brains out. Something like that, just a little more drawn out, a little more like
I think the cage there was the most Superman going through it.
Yes.
That we had in the whole movie. A lot of it was Clark going through it, which is, again, it's a setup movie. And I think they did a fantastic job setting up where to go with Superman next. Because they kind of have to tell what kind of Clark Superman he's going to be.
Yes.
And yeah, there should have been a little more Superman movie parts, but I do think, unlike with some of the other past Supermans that we'd seen recently, I loved that they gave him the ability to smile and a sense of humor. So, like, the very end, one of my absolute fucking favorite lines is when Terrific is screaming at him, and he's like, "Get up! What are you doing just waiting around?" He's like, I'm not wasting time. I'm doing important stuff. Was everything to me. I was like, that's Superman. I'm just doing important stuff. I was like, I love that, man.
Oh, 100%. I loved it. I love everything. And even when the Justice Gang is helping in the beginning, he's like, come on, guys, like, be careful. Like, they're putting people in danger. They're defeating the thing, but they're putting people in danger. And he's like, oh, guys, come on.
Yeah, when he's like, that was a great Superman moment.
He's just worried about
counteracting to that, when he's just sitting in Lois's apartment and the Justice Gang's fighting in the background, was the funniest shit. I could not contain myself. I was like, that is amazing. He's just like,
yeah.
That's fine.
And
I was like, iconic.
Before we give our overall review, I think we do have to speak on what people are a little upset about, that there was a woke tone to this, or that they were trying to make it an immigrant story, because James Gunn did make a statement that this is a film about, an alien coming to this country, but it is at its core just someone who isn't from here can still do amazing good and be a proud American. And I think, as a son of illegal immigrants, I have always resonated with Superman for that reason. He's also a big fan of Smallville and was a huge inspiration. That's why we had Luthor Corp instead of Lex Corp, which, again, I'm a huge Smallville fan. I'm such a Smallville nerd. So I don't think this movie went too far in any political direction of any kind. So if you are on the fence about that or afraid about that, this is just a fun ride. And it has some cool core elements of just
It has
good,
really emotional scenes about that, like the very final speech that Clark gives Luthor.
Who's like speech, you said, petty as heck. He admits to being envious. He's like, yeah, I'm envious. Like, Superman
The
tells
speech
him,
Dad gave Clark.
Pa Kent killed that. It's our actions. It's what we do.
He had such a small role, but it the biggest fucking impact. I was like jaw dropped to my core. Like, that is everything a child wants to hear.
Yes.
And it just,
I'm so
like,
proud of you.
I have a soft ass spot for older, emotional, soft men. I just think that when they get emotional, and him, I was like, that is something every kid wants to hear at some point in their life. And to hear it said like that felt like he's speaking to you, because you're experiencing it the way Clark is right now, because you just watch people get shot in front of you and you're like, this I feel it.
Yes. And I think they nailed it. And the part I loved about that at the end is where he's like, oh, play the recording of his parents. It soothes him.
Oh my
It's
God.
no longer the Kryptonian parents. It's his Kansas parents. It's Ma and Pa Kent home
Jaw
videos,
open.
opening
I was like, no
Christmas gifts.
shot.
Same. I was like, tears. It was awesome. It was such a good Clark Kent moment.
We have to mention a special character. Krypto the dog was absolutely fantastic through this movie. 10 out of 10.
I own that dog.
They animated him so well. His flying scenes I thought were so funny. They utilized the character in a really well way that wasn't overdone, and it helped transition into a new movie that is in the works and coming out, which is something that Marvel has a tendency to do, where they sneak things in towards the end of the movie where you're like, wait, is that a reference to Iron Man? Is he the next hero? And so them transitioning into characters like that felt like it felt like a cinematic universe, not just like Batman, the Joker, slap this, slap that. It feels like we're going into Superman and we're going into Supergirl. The way I screamed when they said your cousin just got back. I was like, I looked at everyone and I was like, oh no, they're gonna cut the movie here. I was like, they're not gonna show her. And for her to walk out and then her to be basically Woman of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and she's like, bye bitch. I was like, that's it.
I'm so
That's my girl. She's gonna go get drunk on a red planet. That's right. That's my girl. That's my queen. She's just a girl who watched the worst happen in her life, so that's my girl.
Yeah, that's what people were saying. How is the stark contrast between Superman, who's like Boy Scout, and Supergirl is partying on red sun planets? I'm like, you need to go read a comic, because it's a great story.
They told the story in 5 seconds right there.
Yes. There's obviously
they depicted the characters so quickly on who's who and why without telling any story. You just saw Superman, him talking to Alan Tudyk as Super Robot, which is that man, it can do anything. Him just talking to or Gary
now, yes.
and then Supergirl to just have freaking polar opposite personalities. And like, she is brave, she is strong, she does want to protect the people, but she's kind of out there. She's not like, I'm a southern girl who was raised really well and I'm kind to everyone. She's a wild city party girl. That's what she is.
I can't wait for that movie.
She didn't grow up in the city, but she is a wild city party girl, and that's what she's supposed to look like. She's supposed to be very different than Clark. And I think that just showed so quickly. A
little more like Guy Gardner than Superman. Guy
Gardner cracked me up with the middle fingers at the end. Was unreal.
That and we're not looking for new members in the Justice Gang. Justice Gang, what a cool name.
That's a really cool name. You're in.
You're in. He was so pushing for that name. It was funny.
They
it was a
gave
hilarious
a
running
lot
joke
of depth to every character. Like, nobody wasn't fleshed out. I'll say I did not love Hawk Girl's battle scream.
Yeah. Why is it?
I thought it was
like
weird.
Super subsonic.
It felt like the Sonic guy from X-Men.
Black Canary also.
Or Canary, that too.
Arrow.
But the guy who flies with his little Sonic rings.
Yes, that I can totally see that as well. Which, not a Hawk Girl.
She's a great Hawk Girl. I didn't like this scream.
She was a great Hawk Girl. Same. Agreed.
Didn't
Scream,
like
not much
that.
for it. So what, Clocky Chan, was your overall rating out of 10 of Superman?
I'm saying 8.5. This has to be one of the best superhero movies I've watched in a long time. In my opinion, everyone can come for me in the comment section.
Come at me, bitch.
They got stale. They got repetitive. The
They were very
DCU was
formulaic.
just so dark. The characters were so stoic. They kept choosing actors that were good actors, but not emotional, impactful actors. And it wasn't much, but like my attention was grabbed the whole movie. I couldn't look away. Everyone made me cry. Then they made me laugh. Then they told me absolutely heartfelt stories that are going to resonate with me forever. They taught me lessons about being kind, and that's all he wants to do. And it's like, I was seeing already posts on like Twitter and stuff, people like, suddenly I have the masculine urge to just be kind to people. And like, that is such a message that in like one day of the movie not even technically being fully aired yet, and people are like, I have such a masculine urge to just be kind. And I was like, that's not a lot. You haven't gotten that from a superhero movie in a long time. They're just like, that was a great movie. I feel like Fantastic Four will probably do similar things, but like you haven't seen that in a while, that people immediately were like, not just like, I can't wait to cosplay that character, but they're just like, I felt that character.
Yep.
I felt him in a way I haven't felt things in a while.
I said this in my spoiler-free review, I based my entire identity off this character. As a human, as a man, Superman's always been the archetype for me. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Dad story. I tell my kids, if you're only ever great at one thing in life, it's being kind. That's it. If you can only ever perfect one skill at life, let it be kindness, because it'll get you everywhere, and it does so much good. And they're fucking awesome. My rating matches yours exactly, though. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I like this film. It did feel hopeful. I am so pumped for the rest of the DCU now. James Gunn did a great job in knowing that he has his hands on every film. I'm so ready.
Let's get him to drop the sexual tones.
Yes.
And
well,
then
he's
we'll
not
be doing a lot
directing
better.
every film, thankfully. There'll be other
But
directors
the
at the helms of
misogynistic
other films.
sex potion tones,
We
let's
don't
drop
need to
those,
have
and then the rating would
many
be
wives.
higher.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and then
Agreed.
everyone
That
repeatedly
whole-
talking about the harem for a while was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, they fixated on it
We get
really
it.
heavily.
We're done.
But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 is my rating. But what are your guys' thoughts? Like Clocky said, feel free to come for us in the comments. If your opinion differs, leave your thoughts. Let us know what you thought. Other than that, we will be doing more reviews down the line, so keep an eye out. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Fantastic Four's coming soon, so that should be
very soon. We will be
If
in
we're watching,
San Diego
if
when
you
it
happen to be
drops.
watching this in chronological order on the day that it posts.
If you follow the
But
playlist structure,
as of right now, Fantastic Four hasn't been released yet.
it has not. We will be in San Diego when it does, though. So we will be dropping our thoughts probably in person, which will be fun. So see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.
And be kind.
Welcome, everybody, to Con Culture Podcast. No, I need a good hook. What's a good hook?
You feeling super?
That's all I got.